Dear viewers, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever you're watching this channel. Dear viewers, there's a time I made an analysis here when I said that most of the time when you see IMF praising a country, then you should know that that country is going to implement punitive tax measures on the citizens. So there's a time we talked here about a $1.2 billion a loan that the IMF were guaranteeing Kenyans come end of June, I think end of June, end of July there. So there is word on the street that the World Bank has applauded William Ruto's endeavors to enhance revenue generation through the implementation of tax rate hikes following his inauguration. So the report published on Wednesday, June 7th, emphasized the role played by the government in sustaining the economic and reducing the debt of gross domestic product ratio, which currently stands at 67.4%. While the World Bank acknowledges the positive impact of Ruto's tax measures, it has also issued a warning regarding three potential risks that could impede the government's progress in economic recovery. Additionally, the report emphasizes the need for political stability to ensure economic growth. Ruto's administration should prioritize fostering a conducive political climate that encourages confidence and attractive investors. From that statement, ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing anywhere where World Bank is trying to protect the people? World Bank only talks about climate change, that there will be no rainfall. World Bank has not talked about the high cost of living that is going to come as a result of this punitive tax. So that confirms the analysis we did here when we talked about IMF's happiness when it comes to a country imposing punitive tax on the people. So from this statement, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell that the World Bank is happy about this finance bill. But then what does that mean? That means the World Bank has said that Kenyans, you must carry that burden. The World Bank is not coming to help the Kenyans and try to advise the government that you should slow down on these taxes that you are imposing on people, and that if you do that, that the people might resist, the people might find it pretty hard to sustain their daily cost of livings. So this confirms what we talked about IMF back then. The World Bank is only concerned about climate change, not concerned about what the common mwananchi is going to face. Recently, we heard that there is another bill that is being passed that the fertilizer kitty is supposed to be injected with additional 4 billion. 4 billion is supposed to be allocated to the fertilizer subsidy kitty. What does that mean? That means the 3.5 billion which was subjected to the fertilizer subsidy kitty, which did not yield any result, now they are supposed to put another 4 billion. What does that mean? That means that the government is going to add 4 billion to the fertilizer kitty. And this also is going to pass because the person that we see there is Moses Wetangula, and the people who are in Kenya Kwanza will literally say yes to everything. So what does that mean? That means this fertilizer kitty that we've seen scandals in it, like yesterday we saw a video that surfaced about a go down somewhere where they were repackaging of the subsidy for fertilizers, which are supposed to be sold now at a very high rate. That means the fertilizer which was supposed to be to retail at I think 30,500 thereby, this fertilizer was being repackaged and then sold. So what as to why or how that number of fertilizers had to get to that kind of domain to go down for that repackaging only means that this could have been a government thing. How do you package that number of fertilizer there? Those fertilizers in that go down ni nyingi sana. Those bags are so many. It could not have been just possible that this racket or this cartel was being done without the knowledge of a government operative. I don't think that could have been possible. So the police exposed that scandal about the fertilizer effect, but the 4 billion that is going to be injected to this fertilizer subsidy kitty, I don't think it will yield any result, because the first 3.5 billion did not yield any result. And then we saw maize that was brought in from outside Kenya come to Kenya, and then again that did not yield results. So what is it about agricultural economics? So we expected the World Bank was going to offer advice as well to the government, but the World Bank imekuja tu na kusupport hii finance bill, because literally if you look at the statement that World Bank released regarding the taxes that are being implemented or imposed on Kenyans, the World Bank has not defended the people, has not advised the government that if you do that, the people might find themselves in a position where they cannot pay these taxes. But the World Bank has come to a level of simply protecting. The reality of the matter is that if you put more burden on the investor will find it hard to sustain the wage bill. The investor will find it hard to employ more people. The investor will realize that the government, is trying to force the investor to just pay. Because let's face the facts here, ladies and gentlemen. If you take, for example, someone who is deducted 5,000 monthly on the housing fund levy, then the employer is also going to finance 5,000 because it's 3%. So this employer will be paying 5,000 extra for the employee. So then the housing levy kit is a lead that you can withdraw from that plan 7 years later, or you can also withdraw from the plan if you retire. But if you retire or after 7 years, you can only withdraw the money that was deducted from you, and that money will also be subjected to taxation. What does that mean? That means the employer's fund will not be deducted from that kitty. So what does it mean? That means the government is targeting employers. So we expected that the World Bank was going to reason with the government and probably advise them on such measures, but the World Bank has not done so. So what does that mean again? That means that the World Bank is only hell-bent in collecting taxes from the people. So our analysis was right, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about IMF effect when it starts praising a country. So dear viewers, allow me to wind up there. Once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed until we catch up again in our next analysis.